From Michael Chandler, thinking that his fight with the Notorious won't happen, to fans no longer taking the legendary fighter's side, here's everything you need to know about McGregor missing the USADA deadline. For starters, Michael has made his doubts known about the Conor McGregor fight. Michael is getting really fed up. He and Conor McGregor are supposed to be coaches on The Ultimate Fighter 31. They're also supposed to fight each other in a welterweight match later in 2023. But there's some drama going on. Rumor has it that McGregor hasn't started the testing program required by USADA. You know, the organization that makes sure fighters play fair. To make matters worse, McGregor is facing some serious allegations of assault. It's all a mess. Chandler decided to vent his frustrations in a video, saying, "Hey guys, you've seen the news, right? Conor's not in USADA." He also mentioned that they only have 179 days left until December 16th, which is supposed to be the last big pay-per-view of the year. USADA decided to show up at his door that day, rubbing salt in the wound. Chandler called McGregor out, asking him just where he was. The guy has had enough of Conor not being in the testing pool. McGregor has officially missed the mandatory 6-month period that fighters have to go through before they can compete again after being out of the USADA pool. McGregor broke his leg in a fight against Dustin Poirier in July 2021, and he's been recovering from that. He's probably thinking, why should he get tested when he can't even fight? But Chandler is getting impatient. He wants McGregor to get his act together and join the testing program so they can settle this in the octagon. But there's another reason why Michael may be angry. Dana White has refused to get involved with Conor's drug testing dispute. So here's the deal. McGregor not undergoing any drug tests made sense for a while since he was recovering. But he's better now and looks about ready to come back. While everyone's excited for his fight with Michael Chandler, the fight might be delayed. USADA wants McGregor to undergo 6 months of random drug tests before he can compete again. USADA released a statement saying McGregor hasn't started the testing process yet, even though he has a fight booked. They've got pretty strict rules, and let's just say Conor won't be able to step 1 foot into the octagon. He didn't take this too well. He's been going off on social media, claiming that he only needs to pass 2 drug tests before fighting again. He even recorded a voice note singing a funny version of Mandy by Barry Manilow, but he replaced the lyrics with a diss at USADA.
But I sent you away, oh USADA.
When UFC President Dana White was asked about this whole mess, he kind of deflected and told folks to ask the deets from Jeff Nowitzki, since he's the guy who knows about everything going on. Essentially, White said that it's not his problem to deal with. He doesn't care about the drug testing stuff and seems to be leaving it to the experts. But by staying out of the drama, in a way, he's also not taking a stand against Conor's antics. Plus, there's another person on McGregor's side, Joe Rogan. Joe thinks Conor did the right thing by leaving the drug testing pool. People have been talking about McGregor's absence from the pool since he's gone through some major changes in his body during his time away from the fighting scene, but Rogan totally agrees with McGregor's decision to opt out. During an episode of his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, he speculated and said that if he were a pro athlete like Conor, he'd probably want to get out of the USADA testing pool too. When you're at his level, you need some extra help to recover from injuries and get in top shape. Pros can't just rely on eating healthy and training. You'd need to consult with an expert sports medicine doctor who can recommend certain things, like peptides, things that you can't take while being tested by USADA. If you look at Conor after that leg break, Rogan agreed that the dude got ripped. McGregor is back to kicking and sparring, and he's scheduled to make his return to the octagon later in 2023. But Rogan is unsure if McGregor will be the same fighter he used to be after such a severe leg break. He mentioned how Chris Weidman had a similar injury and took a long time to recover. Some fighters never completely bounce back. As for McGregor's comeback fight, no date has been set yet because of all the drama going on. As it turns out, Rogan isn't the only one on Conor's side. Chael Sonnen, the former UFC middleweight, thinks McGregor played it smart by leaving the USADA anti-doping pool. In one of his recent episodes of Beyond the Fight, Sonnen mentioned how McGregor's been traveling all over the world, and it's clear from his Instagram account. In that situation, the opt-out works well to avoid any issues with violations. Sonnen said that while he doesn't know what McGregor's been up to lately, The fact that he's been to 5 different countries over the past month or two is reason enough to not be a part of USADA. You don't want to get busted for not being where you're supposed to be when they come knocking. Sonnen also thinks that once McGregor gets back in the USADA pool, he won't have to wait the full 6 months before he can step into the octagon again. By the way, there's some news from MMA journalist Aaron Bronsteter. He broke the story that McGregor was the only fighter in the UFC who wasn't tested by USADA once in 2022. Quite the revelation, huh? But here's the thing. No matter what Conor's reasoning is, the fans want to see a good fight. The fact that McGregor has been avoiding getting tested is causing them to turn on him. Some are even calling him out on social media because of it. Say what you will about the guy. You've got to agree that he's hit a major snag recently. He was supposed to make a comeback against Michael Chandler by the end of the year, but now that might not happen. Fans who've been looking forward to the fight have a good reason to be mad. This news got them all very excited, and everyone was eagerly counting down the days to this epic matchup. So imagine everyone's shock when, just a few days ago, the MMA world found out that McGregor had to join USADA's testing pool before June 16th to fight in 2023. That was the last date for McGregor to make the cut and be eligible for UFC 296, which is the final PPV of 2023. McGregor has been making headlines all year, and fans were hoping for a spectacular return to the octagon. But now, it seems like all that hype surrounding Mystic Mac has come to nothing. According to the USADA UFC handbook, athletes have to inform the UFC in writing about their intent to compete and make themselves available for testing 6 months before returning to action. The latest updates confirm that Conor McGregor missed the USADA deadline. That means the former UFC champ won't be able to fight on December 16th, which was the scheduled date for UFC 296. As soon as the news broke, fans unleashed their anger over McGregor's failure to meet the deadline. One fan said that Dana White knew McGregor would mess this up and was being greedy by letting him coach TF. Another angry fan said that Conor is a joke these days. It's clear that Conor won't be able to compete unless USADA gives him an exemption, which is highly unlikely. Conor is really messing up his career this time. Let's not start on Michael's fans, who were already calling Conor out, and now have even more fuel to add to the fire. They think that McGregor's running away from the fight and is too afraid to show up to the octagon after the injury. It's definitely not a great place for Conor to be in, that's for sure. So, from fans no longer taking Conor's side, to Michael Chandler thinking that his fight with the Notorious won't happen, that was pros' reactions to Conor McGregor missing USADA's deadline.